All right, let's jump right in. Welcome to a deep dive, going right to the heart of Black History Month.
Okay, it sounds good.
You know, you're here because you want a better understanding, a deeper understanding of this annual event. And guess what? We've got some really fascinating sources we can explore together.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
So we're going to be pulling from, well, you've probably heard of it, Wikipedia's Black History Month article, but also a website that is just packed full of events that are happening this year in 2025.
Cool.
Get ready, because this isn't just going to be about like the what and when of Black History Month. This is about getting to that why, the driving force behind it, how it's evolved over the years across the globe, and even some of the controversies, the debates that still spark up today.
Yeah, and you know what I find really intriguing? It's that while most people know about Black History Month, they don't often know the story behind it.
Right.
It's way more than just a symbolic gesture.
Yeah.
It really reflects decades of activism and scholarship, a real fight for recognition.
That's what I'm excited to uncover today.
Yeah.
So where do we even begin with a story this big?
Well, I think our journey should start back in 1926
Okay.
with Carter G. Woodson. Now, he was a historian who, he really understood the power of history. He believed that when you strip a community of its history, well, they're vulnerable. They're vulnerable to being marginalized, even forgotten. And it was this very belief that led him to create Negro History Week.
Okay.
And that was really the foundation for what we celebrate today as Black History Month.
I've heard his name before, but that rationale is incredibly powerful.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it makes you realize how crucial it is to understand and preserve history, especially for communities whose stories have been kind of overlooked or even silenced.
Yeah, and his timing was really significant too.
Okay.
Back then the lost cause myth, that idea that kind of romanticized the Confederacy, it was gaining traction. And Woodson, he saw history education, well, particularly Black history education, he saw it as a form of resistance against these attempts to distort the past.
So it's almost like he was fighting back against that erasure with knowledge.
Exactly. He understood that knowledge, it's power. And for marginalized communities, reclaiming their history is a way of reclaiming their power.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So how did we transition from a week to a whole month dedicated to Black history? How did that happen?
Well, this evolution, it's a real testament to the power of grassroots activism. The shift to Black History Month, it happened in 1970.
Right.
And it was really driven by Black educators and students at Kent State University.
Okay.
So it really speaks volumes about the community's commitment, their unwavering commitment to seeing their history recognized on a much larger scale.
So it wasn't a top-down decision. It was more of a movement that rose up from the people that it was meant to celebrate.
Right.
I have to ask, did this momentum continue? Did it gain broader acceptance kind of beyond those initial efforts?
Oh, absolutely. The energy behind it was undeniable. And that ultimately led to President Gerald Ford, officially recognizing Black History Month in 1976.
That was during the U.S. bicentennial,
Yeah.
right? A time when there was a lot of reflection on the nation's identity.
And you're right. The timing, it wasn't a coincidence. It was a strategic move to really acknowledge the role Black Americans played in shaping the nation, even in the face of systemic injustices.
It's interesting to see how this journey toward broader recognition kind of mirrors societal shifts toward inclusion. It has this celebration spread beyond the U.S.
Absolutely. It has. And it's really fascinating to see how different countries have embraced it and adapted it. For example, Canada. They officially recognized Black History Month in 1995, and they have a strong emphasis on, showcasing the achievements and contributions of Black Canadians specifically.
So each country kind of adds its own unique layer to the celebration. What about other parts of the world?
Oh, well, the UK, they've been celebrating Black History Month in October since 1987.
Wow.
That was sparked by the efforts of a Ghanaian analyst, Akiaba Adaisibo, and Ireland. They joined in 2010. They drew a connection to the city of Cork, which was a center of abolitionism back in the 19th century.
It's incredible to see this ripple effect across the globe.
Yeah.
It really underscores how interconnected we are through these shared histories.
Yeah.
But has this global recognition always been smooth sailing?
Not exactly. Black History Month, even with its widespread adoption, it's faced its share of controversies and debates,
Okay.
which I think really speaks to its ongoing relevance, and the important conversations it continues to spark.
Oh, this is where it gets really interesting. What are some of the criticisms or concerns people have raised about Black History Month?
Well, one of the most common critiques is that, confining Black history to just a single month it risks marginalizing it.
Okay.
It kind of implies that it's separate from mainstream history instead of being interwoven with the broader narrative.
I can see that.
Yeah.
It almost creates this artificial separation, as if Black history is something we acknowledge for a short time and then just kind of put aside for the rest of the year.
Right, right. And that leads to another important point. Some people argue that focusing solely on a handful of well-known figures during Black History Month,
Right.
it can lead to oversimplification, reducing these complex individuals to one-dimensional heroes.
Yeah, that's an important consideration. It's about recognizing the depth and the nuance of individuals' lives and contributions beyond, just a single month celebration.
And this concern about potential oversimplification, it's something that some prominent figures have spoken out against, like Morgan Freeman and Stacey Dash. They
Okay.
they firmly believe that Black history is inherently American history,
Uh-huh.
and it shouldn't be relegated to a designated time frame.
It seems like there's a push to move beyond just symbolic recognition and really integrate Black history more organically into our collective understanding of the past. But how do we actually put that into practice? How do we do that?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? And it's one that educators, historians, communities are grappling with.
Right.
One example of this struggle, it played out in a rather unexpected place: Google Calendar.
What happened with Google Calendar?
Well, in 2025, Google they sparked some controversy when they removed Black History Month, along with other cultural events, from the default settings on their calendar platform. And their reasoning was that, manually adding this ever-growing list of national and international cultural moments, as they called them, it wasn't scalable or sustainable.
So they essentially deprioritized Black History Month in the name of efficiency. That seems a bit insensitive, considering the ongoing conversations about representation and inclusion.
And many people shared that sentiment.
Okay.
The decision ignited a wave of criticism online and in the media, really highlighting the importance of visibility and intentional recognition, even in seemingly mundane digital spaces.
Yeah.
Like a calendar.
It seems like even with its official recognition and widespread celebration, Black History Month is still navigating a pretty complex landscape.
It is.
It's not just about commemorating the past.
Yep.
It's about grappling with its implications for the present and the future.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so relevant. It forces us to examine our understanding of history, its complexities, and how it shapes our present. So, now that we've explored the evolution and some of the debates surrounding Black History Month, I'm curious to see how it's being celebrated in 2025.
Me too. Our second source, the website detailing 2025 events, should give us a glimpse into how the celebration is evolving and the themes being highlighted this year. Let's dive into those specifics next.
Okay, let's do it.
So we're diving into 2025, really kind of exploring how Black History Month is being celebrated and what themes are being highlighted. What really stood out to you when you're going through the website, all those events?
Well, one of the things that just kind of immediately caught my eye was the variety of events happening, all across the country. You've got museum exhibitions, film screenings, community discussions. There are even initiatives within the national parks. It's really showcasing the multifaceted nature of Black history and how it really touches so many different aspects of our lives.
It's not just confined to like classrooms or museums. It's being woven into like the fabric of communities and public spaces.
It really is.
What are some of the exhibitions or events that you found particularly interesting?
Well, one that really stands out is at the National Museum of African American History and Culture.
Okay.
They're hosting a really powerful exhibit. It's called In Slavery's Wake: Making Black Freedom in the World. It runs through June 8th. And it explores the concept of Black agency and resilience in the aftermath of slavery.
That title, Making Black Freedom, really resonates with me. It suggests that freedom wasn't simply granted. It was fought for, shaped by Black communities themselves.
Exactly. It challenges those traditional narratives that often focus solely on the horrors of slavery without acknowledging the ways in which Black people, they actively resisted. They created systems of mutual aid. They built communities in the face of oppression.
It's about reclaiming the narrative, really highlighting the strength and resilience that have always been present within Black communities. What other events stood out to you?
Well, the National Park Service, they've launched a really intriguing initiative. It's called Your Park Story, Black History and Heritage.
Okay.
And it invites people to kind of explore and share the often untold stories of Black individuals and communities who have shaped the history of national parks.
That's fascinating. It makes you realize that Black history is interwoven with so many aspects of American life, even spaces that we might not traditionally associate with it.
It's about challenging those preconceived notions and really expanding our understanding of how Black history intersects with the broader American narrative. Mm-hmm.
And then we have the National Archives.
Okay.
They're contributing to the conversation with an exhibit titled Power and Light, Russell Lee's Coal Survey.
Right.
And this one focuses on the lives of coal laborers, many of whom were Black, who played a critical role in powering the nation.
That exhibit really resonates with me, especially given, our current focus on energy and labor issues. It reminds us that Black history isn't a separate, isolated subject. It's deeply entwined with our economic and social realities.
It's about making those connections and recognizing that the struggles and the triumphs of the past, they continue to have an impact on the present. All of these examples, from museums to national parks, they really highlight the ongoing relevance of Black history and the importance of engaging with it in meaningful ways. It's clear that institutions and organizations are really stepping up to bring Black history to life in these diverse and engaging ways. But beyond these specific events, is there a broader theme that's kind of guiding the 2025 celebration?
Yes. Each year, the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, or ASA for short, they select a theme for Black History Month.
The ASLH is the organization that was founded by Carter G. Woodson himself, right?
That's right. They've been designating themes since the very beginning, back when it was still Negro History Week, and these themes often reflect the current social and political climate. They spark important conversations and encourage deeper exploration.
I'm curious to see how the themes have evolved over the years. What were some of the earlier themes?
Well, back in 1928, the theme was civilization, a world achievement. It really highlighted the global contributions of Black people. Even back then, they were emphasizing the interconnectedness of Black history with world history, challenging any notion of it being isolated or niche.
That's amazing. That shows a real commitment to broadening perspectives right from the start. What about more recent themes?
Well, over the decades, the themes have reflected both the ongoing struggle for civil rights and the rich diversity of Black experiences. We see themes like Negro history, a foundation for integration in 1954, Black women in 1996, and Black migrations in 2019.
It's like a timeline of both challenges and triumphs reflecting the ongoing evolution of how we understand and celebrate Black histories. So what's the theme for 2025? What did they choose?
Well, for 2025, the ASAL chose African Americans and the arts. It's an opportunity to explore and celebrate the incredible creativity and artistic expressions that have emerged from Black communities throughout history.
That's fantastic. It's a chance to really dive into the impact of Black artists on music, literature, visual arts, and so much more.
Exactly. Think about the influence of music, from blues and jazz to hip hop and R&B. Think about the power of literature, from the Harlem Renaissance to contemporary writers like Colson Whitehead and Jesmyn Ward.
Right.
And let's not forget about the visual arts, groundbreaking artists like Jacob Lawrence and Carl Walker.
And even beyond these well-known names, there are countless artists and creators who shaped our culture,
Yeah.
but whose stories haven't been haven't been fully told.
That's the beauty of this theme. It's an invitation to discover those hidden figures and explore the diverse ways in which Black artists have used their creativity to express joy, pain, resistance, and hope.
It's a reminder that art isn't just about aesthetics. It's a powerful tool for social commentary, cultural preservation, personal healing.
And it ties back to our earlier discussion about representation.
Hmm.
By showcasing the contributions of Black artists, we challenge traditional narratives and we expand our understanding of what constitutes American art or world art.
It's about reclaiming space and ensuring that Black voices and perspectives are heard and celebrated in all their richness and complexity. I'm really excited to see how museums, galleries, and communities bring this theme to life.
Me too. And I think it's important to note that the ASLH doesn't just choose these themes randomly.
Right.
You know, they carefully select them to reflect the current social and political climate, aiming to spark meaningful conversations and inspire action.
It's about making history relevant to the present moment, empowering people to engage with it in a dynamic way.
Now, before we move on, I want to circle back to something you mentioned earlier about the global nature of Black history.
Right.
We briefly touched on celebrations in Canada, the UK, and Ireland, but I think it's worth diving a bit deeper into how this month is observed in different parts of the world. What aspects of the global celebration are you most curious about?
I'm fascinated by how different cultures interpret and celebrate shared histories, especially when it comes to something as significant as Black History Month. What sets Canada's celebration apart, for instance?
Well, in Canada, there's a strong focus on recognizing the specific contributions of Black Canadians to the nation's development and cultural fabric. They highlight figures like Viola Desmond,
Okay.
who challenged racial segregation in Nova Scotia back in the 1940s,
Wow.
and Lincoln Alexander, who became Canada's first Black lieutenant governor.
So it's about acknowledging those pioneers and trailblazers who fought for equality and justice within the Canadian context.
And it's important to remember that Black history in Canada, it shares a complex connection with the history of slavery and colonialism, just as it does in the United States.
Hmm.
The transatlantic slave trade, it had a profound impact on both nations, leaving a legacy that continues to shape social and racial dynamics today.
So while Canada celebrates the achievements of Black Canadians, it also grapples with the difficult legacy of the past.
Exactly. Black History Month in Canada is a time for both celebration and reflection, acknowledging the past while working towards a more just and equitable future. How about we shift our focus across the Atlantic? What intrigued you about the UK's approach to Black History Month?
I'm really curious to learn more about how they approach Black History Month, especially given the UK's own complex history with colonialism and race relations. What are some of the key aspects of their celebration?
Well, in the UK, there's a significant focus on the history and experiences of Black British communities,
Okay.
exploring their journeys through colonialism, migration, and the ongoing struggle against racism. They often highlight figures like Mary Seacole,
Okay.
a Jamaican-born nurse who cared for wounded soldiers during the Crimean War,
Wow.
and Ignatius Sancho, an
Yeah.
18th century writer and composer who was actually born into slavery and became a prominent abolitionist.
It's fascinating to see how they highlight the diversity of Black experiences within the British context and challenge the notion that Black history is solely an American or African phenomenon.
It's about recognizing the global impact of Black history and how it's interwoven with the histories of various nations. And even though the UK's celebration has gained widespread recognition, it hasn't been without its share of debate and controversy.
What kind of controversies have emerged within the UK's celebration of Black History Month?
Well, there have been discussions about whether the focus should be exclusively on people of African descent or if it should encompass a broader definition of Blackness, including individuals from South Asian and other backgrounds.
That's an interesting point. It speaks to the complexities of identity and the ongoing dialogue about how we define race and ethnicity, especially within multicultural societies.
It highlights the need for nuanced and inclusive conversations, ensuring that the celebration of Black History Month truly reflects the diversity it's meant to represent.
What I'm realizing is that Black History Month isn't just a fixed event. It's a constantly evolving process that reflects the ongoing dialogue and struggles of Black communities around the world.
You've hit the nail on the head, and this evolution is even evident in the recent emergence of Black History Month celebrations in Africa itself.
That's incredible. It feels like things are coming full circle. What's the primary focus of these celebrations in Africa?
Well, it's still in its early stages,
Okay.
but there's a significant emphasis on pre-colonial African history. Highlighting the richness and complexity of African civilizations before the arrival of European colonizers.
It's about reclaiming narratives and centering African voices in the telling of African history. It challenges the Eurocentric perspective that has often dominated historical accounts. This is truly inspiring.
Now, while we've explored the global reach of Black History Month, I think it's important to delve into a crucial aspect that's often overlooked.
Okay.
Its impact on education.
Okay. Yeah.
How do you see Black History Month shaping the way we learn and teach history?
I'm particularly interested in how Black History Month is being integrated into classrooms and its impact on young minds.
Mm-hmm.
How are educators using this month to foster a deeper understanding of Black history?
And that's where our final source comes in, a website dedicated to providing resources for teachers during Black History Month.
Nice.
It's packed with lesson plans, student activities, primary source materials, all designed to engage students with Black history in a meaningful way. What do you think about the role of education in shaping how we understand Black history?
I think it's absolutely crucial. It's about moving beyond rote memorization of dates and names and allowing students to truly connect with the material. Giving them access to primary sources, diverse perspectives, and opportunities for critical thinking can make all the difference.
It's about encouraging students to see themselves in history, especially students of color who may not always find their experiences reflected in traditional curricula.
Right.
Black History Month can be a powerful tool for fostering a sense of belonging and empowerment, showing them that their stories matter.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of impact do you think this can have on young minds?
It can be. It can be transformative. For students of all backgrounds, Black History Month can be a chance to broaden their understanding of history, challenge their preconceived notions about race and identity, and develop empathy for the experiences of others. It's about fostering a more inclusive and understanding generation.
You've captured it perfectly. This educational aspect of Black History Month might be one of its most enduring legacies. It's about equipping future generations with the knowledge, the empathy, and the critical thinking skills to create a more just and equitable world.
Yeah.
What are your overall thoughts on the role Black History Month plays in shaping our understanding of the past, present, and future?
This deep dive has been incredibly eye-opening.
Yeah, me too.
It's clear that Black History Month is about so much more than just looking back. It's about reclaiming the past, understanding the present, and actively shaping a more inclusive future. What resonates with you the most after exploring these various facets of Black History Month?
Yeah, it really is amazing how Black History Month has evolved, from a single week to a global movement.
And it has such a profound impact on education, art, social discourse.
And even though we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, I still feel like there's so much more to uncover.
Absolutely. It feels like we've only just scratched the surface of this vast and multifaceted topic.
But that's the beauty of history, right?
Right.
It's a continuous journey of discovery and understanding.
So as we wrap up this exploration, I want to kind of shift our focus to you, the listener.
Okay.
What are your key takeaways from this deep dive into Black History Month? What really stood out?
Well, for me, Black History Month it's a powerful reminder that history isn't just about, dates and events. It's about the lived experiences of individuals and communities, their struggles, their triumphs, and their enduring legacies.
It's about recognizing that history shapes the present,
Yeah.
and that understanding the past is crucial to creating a more just and equitable future.
Black history in particular challenges us to confront some uncomfortable truths about our society,
Yeah.
to examine the systemic inequalities that persist,
Mhm.
and to really work towards dismantling them.
It's a call to action,
Right.
a reminder that we all have a role to play in shaping a more inclusive world.
And it's also
Oh, yeah.
a celebration of resilience, of creativity, and the power of the human spirit to overcome adversity.
Throughout this deep dive, we've seen how Black communities have not only endured but thrived in the face of unimaginable challenges.
They've enriched our culture with their art, their music, their literature, their innovations, their unwavering pursuit of justice.
Black History Month invites us all to learn from their stories, to honor their contributions, and to draw inspiration from their strength.
It's about recognizing that Black history isn't just for Black people.
Right.
It's for all of us.
It's a shared history that we must engage with honestly,
Yeah.
critically, and with a commitment to creating a better future for everyone.
So as we conclude this deep dive, I encourage you to continue exploring Black history beyond the month of February.
Yeah, seek out diverse perspectives, engage in meaningful conversations, and use your knowledge to make a positive impact in your own communities.
Remember, history is a living, breathing entity. It's constantly evolving as we uncover new stories, reinterpret old ones, and challenge our understanding of the past.
And Black history in particular is a testament to the power of perseverance, the importance of representation, and the ongoing pursuit of equality and justice.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the heart of Black History Month.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope it sparked your curiosity and inspired you to continue learning and engaging with this vital subject.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.